Here we are, Oh, fuck. Again. Hang on. Oh, excuse me. I didn't mean to yell right there with all that bloody gain. Here we are with the continuation of the Eminem crap albums. And we're here with Revival, the non-crap album. So, I mean, this has always been, like, clearly to me, like, the album out of this crap era of Eminem that I like, that I very much like. It's easily my favorite. I don't know about you. What do you think? You know, I'm interested to know, like, do people like? I know everyone in the whole world likes this album more than Revival, despite the issues that are still in the album. I mean, I think it's a good album, but it's still got its flaws and some. Jesus, I think I had COVID. I think I just got it right then. Sucked it up. Went right to my lungs. The issues, the criticisms that I have about Eminem talking about Revival. That's how bad Revival is that it causes problems in this album. Core blimey. Anyway, like when this album, I mean, its surprise dropped. It got a complete surprise drop. My friends like posted in the chat, like, and I saw it and I was like, oh, it's a new Eminem song. Cool. I'll have a listen. And I was like, oh shit, it's a whole new album. I mean, it's a bit shorter at 46 minutes, hey. But I was still very surprised. Like 8 months after Revival came out, and my friends were like, yo, this album's fucking whack. It's good. Yo, dog. They were saying, like, damn, he sounds like hungry again. And so I threw it on, and goddamn, not a bad 46 minutes. Not a bad. So, I mean, I guess, like, first of all, like, I really got to say, straight up, like, the production on this thing is way better. And that's immediate that you kind of hear, like, you're not hearing all this horse shit, like, you know, the whole Rick Rubin rock samples, which was shit on Marshall Mathers LP too, with Berserk. That's the guitars, by the way. Yeah, I don't think we got any crap samples, crap cramples, rock cramples on this record. Just good to hear. It's kind of a more, I don't know, like bassier, whatever. I mean, to me, this album kind of sounds, it's certainly modern sounding, but I would still say it sounds more like, you know, some Shady LP. You know, just having a bit more of a kickback, laid back kind of beat that's serviceable, but works in service for the rap and for the lyrics, rather than being like this big like thing that Eminem has been showing. But I feel that with The Ringer, the first track on here, it's cool to hear like opening up and just having no shitty choruses. That's nice. Just Eminem for 5 minutes, just, you know, rapping it out and like changing up the flows here and there, over, you know, like not a bad beat. Just a very simple, sounds like, you know, someone threw together a beat that's meant for a freestyle, really. And I don't really think of this much as a freestyle. I don't believe it is, but it does. I would say the start of the song, the start of the album, doesn't start off on like the right foot, and eventually gets his footing. But just him, just being like, "Yo, what's with these rappers? Yo, all they talk about is drinking syrup, a little band, rip-offs, don't have any respect and whatever. Oh, all these kids these days," and it's like, whatever. I mean, Eminem, it seems like he used to shit on pop stars, right? Back in like the with some Shady and Marshall Mathers LPs. He did it in a comical way. Then he started getting like kind of more serious about it. Then he was kind of just like, oh, am I gonna keep making fun of these people? Oh, I don't know. And he collabs with them, which is bullshit, which he did on Revival. And now here, thankfully, no bloody pop star guest appearances on this. He has rappers. He has good old rappers, and like a couple, but that's good to hear instead, because he had none on Revival, so fuck you, Eminem. But now he's making fun of these, you know, up-and-coming rappers that, you know, the trap, SoundCloud, whatever guys. And Eminem's just shitting on him, being like, oh, you think you're so talented, I'll show you talent, or at least those guys have good beats. At least they're like, well, you know, I guess Eminem has good beats on this album, like I've said. But It sort of feels like once the flow changes on this track is it was when the lyrics start getting more interesting, and Eminem, he's not just shitting on him anymore. He's like kind of getting more introspective about it, and he was talking about how he looks in the mirror, he doesn't see his breath, he must be a vampire, blah blah blah. I think that's when the track starts to get a bit more lyrically interesting, and he kind of goes in like all these different paths that I think, like I'm saying, like when he changes up something in the lyrics, the beat has a bit of a change as well, and it's all like reasonably subtle, nothing anything wacky, and like I'm saying, it's all just one big rap song. I feel like I'm too far away from the mic, but I got my dog on my lap. Fuck you, Safi. It's certainly not a bad start to the album, and really, like for me, like yeah, it does. I just think immediately, oh, this is better than Revival. Like I think I might say that this entire album, like all the songs, are better than the best song off Revival, which I guess would be Framed. Maybe not quite. It's not that good, and Revival isn't that shit. But I feel like that, and then the song Greatest, they kind of give the impression that this is kind of a one-sided rap battle. Like Eminem's just being like, oh yeah, you think about it, I can rap really fast without even taking a breath, and all that kind of thing. And I don't know, this is a little bit cringy. It's a little bit like, yeah, it being a one-sided rap battle. You know, who's kind of coming in to like take the side of the people who were like, oh, Revival was so shit, you know, and all this kind of crap about him I guess the tone of this album ain't too bad. Sometimes it gets a little whack, but like I was saying with Eminem, like dissing these rappers and everything and like talking shit about people that shout on Revival, there's something a little light and comical. He isn't getting too serious. That's what I feel like. This album doesn't get too serious apart from maybe one or two songs. So that's at least good. That at least makes him a little bit more palatable and appetizing and makes me hungry. I don't know. So with Greatest, I don't really have much. Like, it's just another song of him being like, oh yeah, where Eminem is, I don't know, just trying to like, what is it? Like stake his claim that he's the best rapper and he's trying to prove it. He doesn't do a bad job. Like I think, like yeah. It isn't so much like on this track, he's just spitting it out and going, like rap fast equals good. He's got some bars. I mean, I don't think it's hell. There's like a whole lot of substance in the song, but listening to it, like again, I don't like the way it starts. Where he's like, people say I'm the greatest. There's still a few like cringy, what would you say, flows? The melody of how he like sings out that. Yeah, but I guess the track itself ain't so bad. And it does like the actual percussion, the actual beat kind of gives it a bit of lift. And I just feel the same with Lucky You, with Joyner. He's okay. He's all right on the track. And he certainly like kind of feels like he has to rap athletically good. You know, he has to rap quick to keep up with Eminem and the way Eminem is rapping on this thing. Again, it's okay. It's okay. The way he just defends himself against these Revival critics, or just being like, I'm the blah, 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 blah. Kind of like a sparring. I guess it's like sparring, you know, and the way he does it, like it's fine. He's not getting tripped up too much on his bars or whatever, and yeah, you know, it's fine. I think it was on the first track where he's saying like, like he's defending Revival and just saying like, oh, it's felt like I offered you a slider, but really it was a porterhouse. And it's like, no, man, it was a diarrhea burger. Just take the L. And it's crazy how defensive it seems he's been on Revival on his own fucking albums. I mean, I think it was just this album. I don't think he got into it on like the next one. I don't think, but like so much. You know when he was like, he kind of got backlash for Relapse, and he kept like he would reference it in like a lot of his songs after Relapse, even on Recovery. He was kind of crapping on about it. There's even no, I don't think there's a Relapse reference on this album. I'm thinking of another album, The Bad Meets Evil, the sequel, the first fucking release they made, and it's called The Sequel. Is it called Hell? The Sequel? This isn't hell. This is hell 2. I don't know. I'll talk about that in a bit because I've been digging it. Yeah, it's just some of this whole like self-defense, like defending yourself against like just take the L, man. Just I really wish he would be a bit more like that on Relapse, which is ironic because Relapse is not a bad album at all. It's clearly better than Revival. I mean, I think it's an okay album because it's half good, half bad, so it just picks it up. But I really wish he would just, in that kind of same sense, shut on Revival and have a bit more of awareness, like when he would do these songs, like on Bad Meets Evil. He had one where he's like saying she kept quit doing the accents. You quit calling me a cunt. I said I can't. And that whole thing, like recognizing where you went wrong on Revival, and like being like, oh, I shouldn't have done a feature with Ed Sheeran. I used to shit on pop artists. Now I'm working with them. That like do something more like that. Just a bit more awareness as to that it was a shit album. And obviously when Eminem releases an album, like people are going to listen to it, which means it's going to like have plenty of sales. So, but that doesn't like, streaming sales or whatever. That doesn't mean that it's good. He's like, yeah, I'm number one in all these countries. Oh, suck my dick. And it's like, well, no, we listened to it to see what it sounded like, and everyone's like, it's shit. So fuck up. Yeah, there's some controversies. Yeah, I'll get to them in a sec. But but then I think it's a bit weird that we have the track Normal, and it's like between these two skits, the good old Paul Rosenberg skits and M Calls Paul, and that's weird though because those tracks are about. That's where the self-awareness, I guess, comes in, where he's like, oh, why you gotta shit on your own critics and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it's a bit weird that they sandwiched a song that isn't about that. Yeah, I don't know, a bit weird with the sequencing and track list or whatever, but Normal is a good song. Normal, I like, the beat is fine. I don't know how to, like, else to describe it, but just this whole... I guess it's a little bit interesting, a little bit intriguing hearing Eminem going on about the relationships that he's in now, because obviously when you listen to his stuff about like with Kim and everything, we kind of got an idea of what that's all about. And I guess if you look it up, like their whole history and everything with that. But then we have these women who we don't know exactly who they are, and you wonder because obviously Eminem's like a huge fucking star, so he's probably got these just mad pussy. He just gets mad at pussy. He gets the fucking, the finest, sharpest, most pure, best-smelling pussy on the planet. He would. He would get the best pussy from every fucking race. It just lined up for him. God damn, save some for the rest of us. But it's a bit more intriguing because he's not like getting into names we don't know. Or maybe we do. I don't know who he's dating or who he's going out with, but he's talking shit about these women. It's not quite as bloody drastic or as misogynistic or I don't know, as violent as a song like Kim or kind of some of the other horrorcore stuff that he's done, like on Bad Meets Evil. Hey, we'll get to that in a sec. But this track here, not horrorcore, just him, I don't know, shitting on it. We're not really shitting on it, just trying to like get to an understanding that he just cannot, at least in the narrative of this song, and how like she fucks with him and he's just kind of by the way, like a beat change on the song, like not the first track to have a beat change, and all the beat changes on the tracks on this album are really good. They're all really good, and like the one on here, it does kind of bring it more into a better tone where it doesn't get too dramatic. It is like a light comical with the piano just going dum, 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 dum. Like Eminem's kind of exhausted by the relationship, which is a pun that he used on some track, probably on Bad Meets Evil. Yeah, so I dig this song. No, I was thinking like Eminem has quite a few songs where he crashes his car, or he's like in a car and he's like having an issue with a woman. Like this song, right? Normal. Has a whole thing about him. Was he trying to find the woman? Then there's a Bad Meets Evil song that has it. The one that has the line where he's like, M's at a white trash party, I'm at Drama Central. There's that. He crashes his car outside Royce da 5'9's club. Love Game with Kendrick Lamar and Kim. I'm giving 4 examples here, man. Yeah, there's always... It's funny. I mean, I gotta say, like, yeah, I guess... You know, not that I know anything about it, but like yelling at your girlfriend in the car. Oh, I never yell at my girlfriend because I don't have one. Like yelling at your girl in the car is like, yeah, obviously a intense situation, or even just trying to follow her because you're in a car, it's already intense. You're like, oh, I might crash out of anger. Yeah, I don't know, whatever. Just something I noticed. What was next? Stepping Stone. Oh, a bit more serious now. Oh, the chorus on this is really fucked. Like, it is the most disgusting part of the album. They're trying to do like the pitch up, like pitch shift kind of thing that, like, I don't know, Kanye's a bit kind of does, you know? I'm not sure if it's an actual sample or something that was just made to be sampled, you know? But, it sounds like they tried to do that whole, that thing, the Kanye thing that's popular with the pitch shift and everything, and they completely fucked it up. They should have tried again, but they were like, nah, fuck it. It sounds like shit. Drop it. It just goes like... And thankfully it just goes away quickly, and Eminem comes in to actually not really save much of it and just do a shit chorus B or whatever. Where he's like, I didn't mean to use you as my stepping stone. Yeah, but I think there's... I still like the track. I really find the chorus difficult, but in terms of... My dog's licking my table, licking the cum off it. In terms of lyrically and this and the concept of the song, and I remember listening to it for the first time where he gets to the end and he's talking about D12 being over. Oh no, D12, fuck. Yeah, I don't know, bummer. There's something here. I still have a bit of an issue with the song, but I do appreciate that, like, it's a song that isn't just him being like, I'm a lyrical spiritual, but I'm the top of the game. It's more getting back into the introspective stuff, which is more fucking interesting. But him going on about his place in D12 and how he feels a bit of disappointment, like, not just coming from that crew, but coming from himself as well. And, you know, obviously, like, for a group like that who had 2 fucking members die, get shot in the fucking face in, like, their 30s. Yeah, obviously he brings that up in the song, and that's gonna, like, cause issues with that group dynamic. I'm not sure if I'm gonna miss D12. I don't know, man. I can just watch. I always like Bizarre, but whatever. I don't know, man. Nah. I guess it'd be nice to have another album out from them, but I don't care that much, especially since Eminem sucks nowadays. Should have released a D12 album instead of this song, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm not keen on, like, the music in the track, like, especially at the end, or the bit where he's like, no, I'm sorry, guys, wish I could, that whole flow. And there is a bit of an uneasy feeling about, like, I don't know. It just seems like I'm not getting the whole picture, and I keep thinking, what if I were in D12, or used to be, I guess, and then I heard this song, and I'm like, what the fuck? Fucking cracker ass. I mean, what the fuck are you talking about? I didn't say D12 was over. What's going on? And I don't know. It sounds like a bit drama. I don't know. There's drama there, and maybe we're not getting the whole thing, but there's still something there that he's put down on wax, and we have that. So I think in terms of it having a I don't know, the story of the narrative of this song there's something there. And then was it Not Alike with Royce the 5'9"? Hey, it's like fucking Bad Meets Evil. Hey, let's talk about that a bit later. Yeah, this is like another song that, like, listening to it again, like, I'm liking it more. I'm still not heaps hell on board with it. Again, it's like a decent beat. That's all cool. It's very modern sounding. That's cool. And Eminem and Royce the 5'9". Royce is okay. He's okay. He's okay on this track. He's been worse, I guess, but Eminem is cool. Until he gets to, like, the beat switch. It's fucking great. I love it. I love it when it gets pretty dramatic and it has like a bit of a choral thing going on, but it's hard, and M goes hard, and he's going hard on he's getting hard on Machine Gun Kelly. Great. I mean, I don't give a fuck about that guy, and I don't really care too much about the beef, but like he had that song Kill Shot, which I think came out after this. Because I was reading that Eminem didn't even give a shit about that guy until he did find out that that guy was singing. He rapped some stuff about his daughter, like M's daughter Haley, when she was underage, and he was like, "Oh wait, what the fuck?" That was 2 years ago. Fuck. So he got back on board and really slams him. This is there's plenty of dissing going on across this whole album. I think this is where it's at its best, where it's at its most deserved. He is attacking him for kind of these reasons and gives him a bit of shit, and that's all nice. And I guess he did pretty well on Kill Shot as well and whatever. I just don't give a fuck that much about dissing and diss tracks and whatever. I guess that's it for that track. Then title track, is that what we're up to? Yeah. Kamikaze. Where he's referencing that song Fack that everyone says is the worst Eminem song, which I know, because that song in its context, it was just some dumb track made for the Curtain Call Greatest Hits album. So it's just a dumb oh whatever, I'm just being fun and funny, whatever. And he is, at least it's better than serious Eminem, River or Stronger Than I Was. Just Eminem going, oh, you gonna get it. Oh. That whole, he made that song for Southpaw. I don't think I've heard that song properly. I did watch that movie and it sucked. It's a dramatic piece of shit. But I guess, that song Fack, this song Kamikaze, again, it's just Eminem just, again, a decent beat. Eminem kind of going off at his critics, but he's not being too funny. I mean, he is being funny. He's not being too serious, and he's able to throw in just some amusing bars here and there, and another good beat switch. Where at the end, it's in normal. It sounds like he just kind of gives up, and the beat kind of gets more minimal and I think a bit slower, and kind of gets and he's kind of saying oh, now I'm just freestyling in the booth. And it does kind of sound like he is freestyling. It sounds more like he's rapping slower, yeah, and putting a bit more concentration and being more careful with his words as they're coming to his head or whatever. I suppose. Well, you better not be lying to me. You're lying so much for your teeth, you broke a tooth. And I've always loved the line where he says, "Something's afoot. Oh yeah, it's my dick. Get the measuring stick. 12 inches of wood." That's nice, nicely comical. Ha ha. Comical Kamikaze. A nice little beat switch there. And then we get to Fall, which is the most controversial song on the album. Yeah. Because he says the F slur. Ooh. People keep saying that, and I'm like, well, it's... Yeah, he does, but it's, censored? I think Eminem is a faggot for not, using that word, I mean, it's funny, I guess he used to, on that one track, that one line on the Marshall Mathers LP where he says something about his mum's attorney, but he had to actually cut out the whole name, the whole line, and the only word in that bar is faggot. But now it's the opposite way. Now you can talk shit about anyone you want, but you can't say that word, or you get banished to hell, the sequel. Hey, let's talk about that in a second. So anyway, this track I think has got a very good beat to it. It's very I don't know, it's just chill. I like the Bon Iver vocals on it. It's good to hear him doing it instead of Eminem. That's good. Yeah, I've always thought this is a well-produced song, but yeah, it's definitely, and it, getting this far into the album, and now for Eminem to keep dissing, and now he's serious, and he's not throwing in a more comical stance. He's dropped it, so it just seems oh god, again. And then he's getting into some weird revelations. He says Tyler the Creator, you're bullshit, you're a faggot, Earl Sweatshirt or whatever, and it's like, oh, I mean, those two have done some good stuff, like even before this album came out. Oh, hang on, let me check. No, no, this album came out before some rap songs, so yeah, that's a shame. Yeah, it certainly did. So I feel, because I love that album by Earl. Previous albums I didn't think were as good, but that album was like, whoa. Okay, so but even still, Tyler and Earl, like, not the right targets to be shitting on. And I guess because Tyler, like, he crapped on Revival, as everyone else did in the world, so stop making it so bloody personal. And Tyler, the Creator, was always very, like, supportive of Eminem. He, like, you know, talked up Relapse when people were shitting on it. He didn't do the same with Revival because it was a diarrhea sandwich, but Eminem's still salty about it. It's like, oh, you don't like it, faggot. He has to still censor it. Yeah, and then he's saying, like, man, and then he starts saying, like, I introduced into the world, I inspired the Hobsons, the Logics. Oh, thanks, man, thanks. Wow, so fucking great. Good old Hobson and his fucking, yo, don't wear a mask song or whatever. And Logic and his cracker-ass honky shit. Hobson being like, yo, I mean, Logic being like, yo, I'm white, I feel bad. I'm sorry for being a cracker. By the way, also nice to hear Eminem throwing out the white slurs. I'm a fan. Like, he does it throughout some of these other songs on here, so that's nice to hear. That's good to hear. What was I saying? And then he says, "What did you do? Huh? You just squat, pissed, and moaned. I introduced the world to 50 Cent." Like, wow, thanks. Wow, 50 Cent. On the ground. Like, talk about, I mean, don't you think these mumble rappers, like, were inspired by 50 Cent? Like, 50 Cent, he's not quite a mumble rapper, but he's kind of not hell enunciative, don't you think? He's kind of like, I mean, 50 Cent is such a, like, it's the beats that propel him. You know, he's got some killer beats and whatever, but, like, you know, how is he as a rapper? He's not much of a killer. He's just very mediocre. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, very questionable stuff there in the, on this track. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Lyrically, I usually think Eminem's, like, doing okay, but on this song, he really lets it down. Not because his bars are awkward, but because of this shit. But the beat is good. And then, I like these next two songs. I've always loved them. Good Guy and Nice Guy or whatever. I think this is like Eminem getting on his Kanye shit, I guess. I don't know, I get a bit of a Kanye vibe. Again, with a bit of a beat change on the first track on here. And Eminem getting a bit more introspective into the whole, like on Normal, not conjuring up a story this time, but just delving into, like, the relationship issues. And it's good that he could be sparring with, what's the fucking name? But yeah, yeah, I think she's dope. She's got, like, some good... She doesn't rap, does she? She kind of sings in, like, a... I don't know, she sings. Yeah, it's good. I think it's a pretty good contribution, and it's good to have her just being, like, yeah, sparring with Eminem. I wish Eminem could do the same with his rap abilities. Have someone on and be like, yo, you a shitty rap. He should have had Tyler on giving him shit. But then they're just like, yeah, I'm just playing Em. You know I love you. That whole thing. Fucking hell. In the same way that he does it with the relationship issues. And these two tracks, interesting production, which I like. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. They bounce off each other well. They contrast well. And they kind of act almost like... They're very much two tracks, but they're very short. So they almost kind of feel like the one track. Yeah, I don't know. I think kind of the way that they both get fleshed out, it just shows that Eminem's kind of got something a bit more interesting than just, you know, a beat, verse, chorus, end, you know, that whole thing. Like, yeah, even on some of these other songs on here, it just seems like he's a bit more loose. doesn't have to be quite as, having Ed Cunt Sheeran on the chorus just going. It's instead just having, I don't know, just have the song end, or just have it you come to a finish, or just do a whole rap, don't have any chorus. That's why Stepping Stone to me it seems padded out with like having a chorus and then a bit at the end, yeah. I don't know, good stuff. And then it ends Venom or no Venom. I guess, is this song bad? I think it's like very, very, I think it's just a mediocre song. Nothing about this track like really rubs me the wrong way. It does just sound like a, what do you call it? Licensed song for a movie. The big superhero movie coming out. Woo, Venom! It's like a movie that's supposed to be R-rated, but it's not, I guess. That movie sucked, man. I like the song more than the movie. Goddamn. Movie was crap. That movie was ass. It was bloody terrible. And when that song came on in the movie, in the end credits, I was like, this is the best part of the movie. And then they showed a clip from the Spider-Verse, and I was like, oh wait, this is actually the best part of the movie. It's a fucking preview for another fucking movie altogether. It was way better. Not that I've finished watching Spider-Verse. I tried watching it like in the morning, and I felt like I was eating candy for breakfast, so I stopped watching the movie. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. Sorry. But as for this song, it seems like the chorus has gone viral for how bad it is, but I just think it is what it is. I think again, at least it's not being a fully fucking serious piece of shit song where he's, I don't know, I didn't even know what he's rapping about on it. Is he just going like, oh, with a fucking round, gonna pop it up my ass, hey, I got the venom in my blood, oh, I rap like a venom, I'm like the devil, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's just like, whatever, just, for some reason it caps off this album well, and I don't know why, because it's not that great. And it may be the worst song on the album. I think it's the worst song on the album. So, yeah, it's worse than Framed off Revival. I think it's worse than a small handful of tracks off that album. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, overall, I think like I'm still surprised. I'm still kind of flustered at how just 8 months later, after such a shit slider, a diarrhea porterhouse that Eminem offered up with Revival, he just smashes out this album. It is very defensive. It's very like, at times, but then he tempers it a bit with just being like, stick it up your ass and whatever. And he does come back with some hard bars and hard flows. Good on him. And very, like, much more well produced is kind of the big takeaway that I had the first time I listened to it. So I was just like, oh, it's actual music. But it's just so strange that we'd spend essentially 4 years on Revival and have it be so shit, and then push this one out 8 months later. You can't even do that with a bloody person. With a bloody baby. Yeah, so I guess, maybe I guess it was kind of the same with Recovery, I suppose, but like for M to, I don't know, just get like so worked up and so focused and have a bit of this, it seems like it was a bit of a fire under his ass, and that's what created, I think, a pretty good album. I kind of thought like it was better than the Eminem show when it came out, but I don't know. I think it's better than Encore. I think it is, I would say, probably the best of since Eminem show, honestly. Maybe it's because it's just so concise and it's just like very unfat. Most of the fat's been cut off. So nice, slim, like 45-minute, just little thing. And maybe this is what Eminem needs to do. He does need to kind of just train in. He needs people telling him, you're shit, but you have the talent, work better. You need no men around you being like, that's whack, that's shit, don't drop it, fucking get someone else to do this, get someone else to sing this, get another guest a rapper, get someone else to produce this, fuck Rick Rubin, lock him out the thing, out the production studio, and don't be so defensive, but whatever. So, like, I watched the Dead End Hip Hop guys, like, they said about this album, this is like the minimum bar for Eminem. Like, this is the worst he should be doing. It's just still good. They still liked it, I guess, but they were like, but he can't be making anything worse than this, because it's unacceptable, because it's not like he's just a shit cunt, right? He has the talent, and he is demonstrating it here. Like, what else do we kind of really need from Eminem, like, on an album like this? Like, does he need to be a bit more punchier, or a bit more political? No, thank you. His politics is just like, shit it out. That's how he sounds. So, every time I listen to these albums again, like, I kind of wonder, like, how much, like, are they sticking with me? Because I don't really listen to Relapse or Recovery or Marshall Mathers LP, and certainly not Revival, like, again, since I've been doing these reviews of them or whatever. But this one here, like, I was thinking, I'm enjoying the album. I'm listening to the album and actually enjoying it, and it sounds good. Lyrically, it's pretty tight. It's got some good parts. It's not like just clunky horse shit like some of the other stuff that he's done. Or just like bad, like just going at a song from like a bad angle, so that, you know, it doesn't matter how, whether lyrically or in terms of concept or in terms of the idea or the production, and just fucking up the song from the get-go and being like, well, this is all just trash. I'm just listening to the bullshit for the next 4 minutes. Speaking of which, seems like all that goodwill then that he conjured up with this album that was, I guess, a little divisive, right? But that I, like, kind of threw it all back down the toilet with Music to Be Murdered By, which we'll get into that. I mean, I haven't listened to those fucking albums, the two of them, since both of them came out, but I remember being not heaps impressed. My recollection is that they're okay, but they're just mediocre. And again, it's like, no, Eminem, step it up, goddammit. He should be, putting together something that's a bit tighter, you know, like about 50 minutes or something. It doesn't have to be so bloody long. It doesn't have to be 2 fucking albums worth. Just nice, tight, like every fucking bar, just make sure it counts, you know. Maybe that's what he's gonna get doing. Anyway, speaking of tight, like the sequel, the sequel, deluxe version of the Bad Meets Evil release, like an EP, but it was like 36 minutes, so whatever. So, you know, Royce da 5 and Eminem. I didn't know about this until, like, I read a book about Eminem recently, Not Afraid, which I was like, oh great, this is the book about all the shit Eminem albums. And, you know, it's a very light read, and the guy in it, like, pads the book out with all the stuff about Eminem being like, oh, a white rapper in black culture, ooh, would black people have owned raps, ooh, and it's like, oh, whatever. I was kind of skimming past all that, and the guy was being a bit too nice towards some of his albums, even though he did shit on Revival a bit and be like, oh, I guess the fans were disappointed, but, you know, he really talked up MMLP too, and it's like, come on, it's not that good. It's not that good. Anyway, but, like, reading that book, it was talking about Bad Meets Evil, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I kind of remember that coming out, or I guess not. I guess fucking not, because I never listened to it, and I gave it a go. Yeah, it's not a bad release, really. I mean, I'm not, because I remember listening to Bad Meets Evil, the song off Some Shady, and I dig that song. I don't think Royce is the best. Like, he's kind of a bit lazy, really. Like, sometimes he's rapping and he's got a rhyme scheme, and then he just lets it go at the end of the bar, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess you're not fucking rhyming anymore, are you, cunt? And he, I do like this Hell EP, but Royce da 5, I feel like he's okay, but sometimes he does let it down. It's like, come on, man. Like, you're working with Eminem. Eminem's doing all right. He's sounding like close to the top of his game, I suppose. But yeah, you need to step it up a bit, because he is doing that, and he just has some lines that are just like not evoking the best story or whatever, and you're like, even though it seems like the two of them are working well together, working well with how they craft the story across them, like each other, you know, and how they crisscross, and how they have like, and they work together in terms of putting forward a tone of this album that is leading pretty heavily into the good old horrorcore. It's definitely in that. They're definitely like, well, we were going to make a fucked up release, you know, hey, it's going to be misogynistic. Woo! All right, I'm down with that on these tracks. But on the track like A Kiss, where it's, yeah, they go heavy in on like the relationship issues, but they're also kind of being like, well, hey, I'm like this because I just want to be kissed. Pucker up. Yeah, I dig all that. I do like the tracks, and they've got kind of a 2003 vibe to it. I'm not shitting on that too much. It's okay. I don't mind some of the production. Like, it's not as good as Kamikaze, I guess, which has a bit more of that bass heavy. It's a bit slightly trap inspired, whereas this has more of that, yeah, I don't know what you'd call it, the bling era, maybe, but with something a bit more, I don't know, haunting, I suppose, in the music. But I think it's all good. I think it's pretty tight, and I think for 7 tracks, 36 minutes, right? You know, it ain't too bad. The only problem is when that Bruno Mars track comes on. Fuck, it really kills the vibe immediately. Like this, I mean, Royce has a line where he says something about being the first rapper to shoot a fan, and it cuts immediately from that little, like, whoa, horrorcore moment directly into Bruno Mars being like, put out the lighters. Like an absolute fucking, you know, rap anthem in the stadium. Everyone throw up your lighters, everyone throw up your phones, and it's just like, ooh, not a particularly good track. Bruno Mars is horrendous. I think that, like, he's a bad singer. His stuff sucks, doesn't it? It's very whiny. It's gross. Yeah, every time I hear that track in my car, like the track before, and just before it gets to the end, I have to fucking throw down the volume. Fuck, man, it's such a shit stain of a. But I think it's. I think the verses are fine. I think Eminem's okay in it, and that it's. I don't know. Again, like there's no shitty crap done with the music itself on the beats and the instrumentals. I think it's all fine. It's not like Revival. Oh, I'm still having Revival flashbacks. But anyway, that is Kamikaze. You know, a bit more of a tight, concise. Maybe Eminem not covering like all the grounds that he should be covering, and an album like that could still be tighter because he's still going on a bit too much with the whole, oh, you dissing me, well, I'm gonna diss you, and the various tones that he takes it. But overall, like a nice, light, you know, a pretty fucking damn good palate cleanser, let's say, for Revival. I mean, you got to keep comparing it to Revival because of the context of it being released and how much he goes on about that album on this album. But anyway, so yeah, I was looking forward to this, and it's great to be able to listen to the album again. And I want to see how it has more replayability, it seems, than the other, you know, Relapse and Recovery and all that. I'd say at this stage, to rank the albums, and I should probably do this at the end once I've talked about Music to be Murdered by. Well, I reckon it's, in my mind, I think Music to be Murdered by, like both of those, I remember being the second worst Eminem album behind Revival. But hey, it's behind it by a considerable distance, I suppose. Oh, my dog is so fluffy. Ooh, she's very warm and squeezable. So Kamikaze, number 1. Oh man, Relapse and Recovery. It seems so tight. I mean, the problem with Relapse is that it's just the first half is so good, the second half kind of drops the ball. Recovery is a bit more all over the place and was kind of. It has, I think, worse tracks because it's when, and it kind of ruined Eminem's fucking career. It's what got him into like the whole pop rap and doing collabs with fucking bullshit people, you know, rather than rappers. I mean, just have someone talented sing your chorus. Can you not get Bruno Mars? Like, get Bon Iver or someone interesting. I mean, at least he's an interesting vocalist. Like, rather than someone going, but it's worse if you do it. Anyway, yeah. And then Marshall Mathers LP 2, which I just don't really care for. It's overrated. It's got a handful of good songs, and that's it. It's kind of like wasted potential, I suppose. It doesn't live up to being a sequel. And then, yeah, Music to Be Murdered By, whatever, we'll get into it. And then Revival's a shit stain. Anyway, that's the Eminem shit. Yeah, that's it. All right, fuck it, I'm out of here. This has been the David Morgan Brown Experience, boy. Yeah, I'm looking into your window right now, jerking off into your letterbox. Boy, girl, you girl, boy. Yeah, that's... Alright, I'll see you at the next one, and we'll get that Music to Be Murdered By. Oh boy, I get to listen to both those albums again. What is that, fucking 140 minutes worth? Oh, I'm having a heart attack already. Alright, I'll see you at the next pod.